So the Star Wars franchise is not only in a massive mess, but it is in the biggest mess it has ever been. One of the most popular, if not the most popular media of all time is currently being mishandled so bad. Again, if we thought that Star Wars Episode 8 and Star Wars Episode 9 were bad, we hadn't seen fucking anything until we got to Star Wars The Acolyte, which is the biggest disaster of politics and a bunch of stupid shit that doesn't need to affect Star Wars. Again, when I think of politics in Star Wars, I like to think of Natalie Portman, saying that democracy is ending after the Emperor takes over the Republic.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
I don't typically like to think of Leslie Headland, the former top assistant of Harvey Weinstein. I don't like to think of her absolutely spamming a whole episode with a lesbian space witches who decided to somehow birth a twin set of children from not even the Force, because they call it the string or some fucking stupid bullshit, and then ruin Anakin Skywalker's legacy as being the one and only, the Jesus figure of Star Wars born by the Force. No, that is not the only person born by the Force, because these two twins were born by this magical, mythical group of lesbian witches who think that Jedi are some oppressors and are like mean against women. No! What is this, Disney? Why? What the fuck am I watching right now? I've seen better acting and better choreography in... I don't fucking know. Who cares? The show sucks. But one thing really awesome that's come out of this is the new main executive producer of Star Wars, Dave Filoni, the GOAT, who, of course, since having a much bigger role with Star Wars, has really greenlit some fantastic things. Dave Filoni obviously went on to talk about the potential of an R-rated Star Wars project by saying there's definitely an audience for that. Dave Filoni talks about making possible R-rated projects within the Star Wars franchise. Dave Filoni hints at R-rated Star Wars projects, emphasizing importance of unique storytelling. Obviously, I'm a massive Dave Filoni fan. Again, Dave Filoni gave us the Clone Wars and the Clone Wars movie. Then he gave us Rebels. And then when Disney saw this guy was the GOAT, they gave him, a lot more free will. He obviously did The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau. He did Boba Fett, sort of, with Jon Favreau. Not as much. I think that was more Jon Favreau. That wasn't good, really. But then he, of course, did the Ahsoka show, which I thought was actually pretty good. I know some people didn't like it. I think they're definitely reaching too hard on the dislike for that. He, of course, did Tales of the Jedi, which was absolutely awesome. Then he got promotion to executive producer, mainly, at Lucasfilm. Again, a lot of people believe he gave the clearance for Acolyte. He did not. Acolyte was well in production, all that type of stuff, before he had any really say. So again, please don't attack the Lord and Savior Dave Filoni. He ain't doing nothing wrong, bro, I swear. But obviously, since he's been in charge, we know the two big things he's working on are a Mandalorian and Grogu movie that he is executive producing with Jon Favreau. And then obviously, I think the confirmed sequel to that, which is a movie uniting all those shows, which he is directing, which is an heir to the Empire movie, which should be absolutely fantastic. Again, Dave Filoni already has 2 projects in development, which should be absolutely bomb. Let's not even talk about a potential Mandalorian Season 4, which could still come out one day. Who really knows? They probably won't do that. They'll probably stick to the movies, I think. But then obviously, the other projects that we know, like a potential R-rated film or show, which I think Dave Filoni could definitely get behind. As someone who seems to absolutely adore the Anakin Skywalker character, which Dave Filoni does, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the things he looks at is an R-rated Star Wars Darth Vader movie. Now, I know a lot of people say the first 6 Star Wars movies are all about Darth Vader. Pretty much it's true. But as we know by all the comics, there's about 100 other different projects they could make about Darth Vader and his time of still destroying all the Jedi post-Order 66 that we have not gotten the grace of seeing in live action. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they need to make Star Wars R-rated. I think you could get away with an MA-15 Star Wars and it be exactly what you need to do. People don't realize that R-rated is like the next step. That's like drugs, nudity, all that type of stuff, right? We don't necessarily need that in Star Wars. There's already the reference to drugs with like spice and all that type of stuff. We don't need nudity in Star Wars as much as I'd love to see Natalie Portman and Daisy Ridley, you know, in their birthday suit. I mean, who fucking wouldn't? That would increase ratings, obviously, but I have too much respect for those actors. And you know what? Fuck it. If you want to call me sexist for that, shit. I'd like to see fucking Adam Driver as Kylo Ren naked. If you're going to give me those two, give me fucking Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. We already got to see the swole memes of that guy. Shit. Just go one extra step further, right? But an MA-15 Darth Vader movie would be so hard. Imagine seeing a Darth Vader movie 1 or 2 years after Revenge of the Sith, of him still settling into being Darth Vader, of him settling in with the fact that he pretty much thinks he killed Padme and all this type of stuff. Him absolutely hating his life, being so depressed, and the only thing he enjoys now is taking his anger and hatred of killing Jedis. We could see some really gruesome shit and some really interesting stories. And we already got to see the semi-gruesome shit of Darth Vader, like, breaking a kid's neck in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. All that shit. That was already pretty fucking cool. And there's about 10 other levels higher they can go if it would be MA-15. And we could get some badass stuff. Again, a lot of the movies, like typically Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man movies are those that explore the emotions and the bad parts about being Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, I think Spider-Man No Way Home, obviously, right? I'm sick of Spider-Man 3 being disrespected online. That is a top tier Spider-Man movie, and I absolutely love it. Those are the best Spider-Man moments, right? The first Spider-Man game and the second Spider-Man game. Seeing the emotions that Peter Parker has to go through. There are comic books that show the emotions that Darth Vader has to go to, and they're fucking brutal. Seeing Darth Vader have to handle the death of Padme, Natalie Portman, I mean, shit. We would have all done the same thing if we were him, and we would have fucking killed those kids for Natalie Portman, wouldn't we have? Obviously, I'm joking. You know, that's just a meme. I wouldn't actually do that for Natalie Portman at all, right? So, again, seeing a R-rated or an MA-15 version of Darth Vader movie a couple years after Revenge of the Sith, seeing the absolute battles mentally and physically he has to go of now being like a robot and losing every single thing that he loved, to hunting down all the Jedi of Order 66, to seeing his anger with Obi-Wan fleeing, maybe seeing his anger that he thinks Palpatine betrayed him. Like, we know he does get angry with Palpatine, and he does get pissed at the suit that he gave him and the life that he gave him, all of this type of shit, right? That would be so awesome to explore. There are other R-rated things they can do. Another Bounty Hunter movie, maybe, but we're getting Mandalorian and Grogu, so probably not. An underground, underworld Jedi movie that has Star Wars stuff in it could be cool as well. There's a ton of different R-rated MA-15 things that we could do. Again, I still think Darth Vader hunting down the Jedi and going through life as being Darth Vader after Revenge of the Sith would be the sickest thing that I think a ton of people would go see. One cool thing, again, would be even having an MA-15 or an R-rated episode of Star Wars What If, which we know Star Wars What If's coming. Wouldn't it be cool if we got an episode that was like horror themed of Yoda? Again, maybe the stormtroopers get on Yoda's planet and he has to, of course, Dagobah, he has to potentially hunt down these stormtroopers, right? They're coming for him in this darkness, and Yoda's like a mythical creature in the trees and shit, hunting down these stormtroopers one by one. They could give us a lot of horror elements in that could be absolutely brutal. It would be absolutely awesome. So I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this. What do you guys think about a potential R-rated MA-15 Star Wars? I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my sports channel, MIRL/Filoni channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.